So this week on our Obsessed with Coaching training, you're going to hear from Coach Tulin Emery, and she's going to chat about how to share your journey even when you're in the middle of it. This is an amazing topic, you guys, because it's kind of the bread and butter of what we do as coaches and how we get clients and coaches to join us. If you're not doing your own journey, if you're not working out, at least trying to work out, follow a meal plan, stuff like that, and sharing about it, it's going to be pretty hard to get people to join you, whether it's as a coach or as a client. So I think this call is going to be so amazing. Tulin is, she is amazing. She is so inspiring and motivational, and I know she is going to give us some killer tips on the call today. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And like always, if you have any questions from anything you hear, just shoot me a message or post in the team page.
What's up, you guys? Happy Monday. I hope everybody's day is off to a great start. Sorry, I'm getting situated here. Happy Monday. So obviously we're doing a call today. I didn't get a chance to do our interview last night with Tulin Emery. I was flying to New York for the Today Show this morning, which went fantastically well. So super excited about that. I see Tulin is on. So Tulin, I'm going to invite you on if it'll let me. Why isn't it giving me the option to bring you on camera? There. Tulin, are you on from your phone? You need to be on from your phone so I can invite you into the chat. For some reason, it's not giving me the option to invite you in. Or you can request to join the conversation. So we're going to be talking with Tulin in a minute, just as soon as we make technology work. And we are talking all about sharing your journey, even when you're in the middle of it. And I'm so excited to have Tulin on for this. Obviously, she was a part of the original 80-day obsession test group, had such mind-blowing results, and obviously is in the middle of her journey, has been going through her journey for a long time, has had a lot of ups and downs in her journey. And she's also such an amazing example of how the scale does not dictate your progress. Because if you saw Tulin's results from when she was in the original 80-day group, she lost between 3 and 4 pounds throughout the 80 days, but like 22 or 23 inches off of her body. So a lot of fat gone, but a lot of lean muscle built, which is amazing. So we're giving her a second to log on from her phone. That was my bad. I should have mentioned that to her. And once she's on from her phone, I will be able to invite her into the chat, and we'll start talking. And you guys, we'll have a good 35, 40 minutes-ish. My schedule's a little jam-packed because I have to fly back to LA today. Okay. Giving her a second to connect. Turn the volume up. Almost there. So get ready. We're going to get some great information from her. Tulin, I'm not sure if you have to accept it. It shows that it's adding you. Is there a button that you can click to accept the invite into the conversation? Every week, you guys, technology gets me. Yay! There she is. Hi!
Congratulations.
Yay!
Good morning. All right, cool. Got it.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was on my computer. That was the problem.
No worries. It was my fault. I forgot to mention to you that the only way that Facebook allows you to bring somebody on is through your cell phone. So
there you go. There you go.
So welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your Monday morning to chat with us. So, we're talking all about sharing your journey, which we've talked a lot about in the group, but sharing your journey when you're in the middle of it. I think for a lot of people, they have that fear of I'm not the perfect size, or I'm not at my end goal yet. So I don't want to show people where I'm at or invite them to join me. So let's talk a little bit about your experience with that.
Well, I'll tell you, can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Totally.
So where it started for me and why this became such a mission of mine. So we're guesstimating about 375 pounds. Scale didn't go any higher than 350. It slammed stop at 350. And I knew with how quickly I can gain weight that it was continuing on his journey, right? And so I desperately went searching for a version of myself online. This is going back like 6-7 years ago. I desperately went searching for a version of myself online. I wanted to see a body like mine in motion. I was ready to quit again. And I couldn't find her. And at the time, people weren't sharing their journey. They were sharing the before and they were sharing the after, but I didn't know what it looked like to get there. And I was looking for very specific things in relationship to me and my struggle and what was holding me back. And that really lit a fire in my belly because I realized, why do we have so much hatred for ourselves before and so much love for ourselves afterwards when it really isn't about the destination, it's about the journey? And when I realized that, the very first video I ever popped up was actually the video where I was going to quit. I started off with Insanity. They were jumping. I was swaying side to side. They were doing, I don't know, all sorts of crazy stuff. I was swaying side to side. And I could only do 2 to 3 minutes of the workout. Well, when I look at that, I realized that as I progressed, I took some video. My husband ran out of the house. I popped up my camera. I'm like, well, let me see where I am now. So I moved past swaying, and I moved into actually being able to do the moves. So I kind of went like on a heavy modification compared to a less heavy modification, totally in secret. And I watched the video, and I uploaded it on YouTube just for a place to store it. And I watched the video, and I went, holy crap. Like, look what you can do right now. And that's what started it. And I realized my frustration was I desperately was looking for a version of myself, and when I couldn't find her, I became her. And I really would love to help encourage people to do this. And now that we have social media and more people are sharing their journeys online, but to become that version of yourself that you would be looking for in this very moment. Who is that? And I think sometimes people look at me and say, well, I'm not comfortable with where I am, or, I don't have the confidence you have, and et cetera, et cetera. And all this is learned behavior, but it started from a place of self-love, because I've done a lot of self-punishment in my life, a lot. And when I came from a place of loving myself and enjoying the journey and helping people while on my journey, everything exploded for me. So regardless of where my journey is or where my struggle is, there's always somebody out there that needs to know that, if we do have a slide back, that there is a way to move back forward. And sometimes when we feel like we're quitting, maybe it's not that we're actually quitting, but we're actually filled with wisdom because we were doing something and on a subliminal level, our body's like, hey, maybe anorexia isn't such a good idea and probably why you're quitting. And you're not quitting, you're just being wise on like this deep, profound level. So
I love that so much. God, there's so much great information. I'm like, what? And mic drop, there it is, you guys, in a nutshell, like literally. But I love that because what you just said was something that I think it was Jen Richardson sort of touched on a few weeks ago when we were talking about sort of like attracting your tribe and inviting. And it was like, well, and she talked about how she sort of comes up with this avatar in her mind of who her ideal person is and who she wants to attract to help or who she wants to invite. And it's different, but it's the same. Meaning, you said you're out there searching for you, and there wasn't one. And that's really important to know is that so often, you guys, people are out there looking not for the perfect, hard body, fitness competitor, celebrity trainer. They're looking for the person that makes them feel like they can do it too. Like my words of encouragement and motivation hopefully give them a piece of that, but they're looking for somebody to say, look, I'm not there yet, but I'm doing it. And I love the topic of self-love and what you said, because we do, right? We hate our bodies so often. We'll like shame ourselves, and our bodies hear that and respond to it, whether you want to believe it or not. If you walked up to another person, looked them in the eye, and were like, you're fat, you're disgusting, you're ugly, that person's soul would be crushed.
Absolutely.
So what's to say you're not doing the exact same thing when you look in the mirror and say it to yourself, right? And you feel all of that. So I love the topic of saying self-love and love where you're at now and love where you're going. So do you have recommendations for people who might be more shy about it or not as confident? one, about the feeling of it, and two, how to go about sharing it.
Okay, well, number one, I want to touch back on the body thing. This body has gotten us through some stuff. Like, we all have ways that we got. Some people, it's with a glass of wine and they can make it look really fancy online. Some of us, it's trying to shove like a bunch of Twinkies or whatever. Those weren't my choice, but like, Haagen-Dazs and, Pizza Hut into a wine glass. No matter how much I try to let that look good, it's not going to look good, right? So I chose food as a way to punish myself or soothe myself or whatever those things are. And when we speak negatively to our body's listening, right? Well, this body, if we come from a place of love, we take care of the things that we love. And this exact same body that you are just like just banging with all this negativity, well, shoot, I'm not going to want to get up and go change life if like my husband spoke to me that way, or my kids spoke to me, or my boss spoke to me that. How hard are you going to want to work? How hard are you want to change? If you come from a place of love, it makes you like, okay, the same body's going to get me to where I need to go. It got me through what I needed to get through, and it's going to get me to where I need to go. So I should love on this, because we're not a mistake. Like, this and the weight on me isn't a mistake. So, going back to like, finding the ideal, like finding the way to be able to kind of move forward in that conversation is to understand this, is that I believe very, very strongly that we've been practicing our entire lives, that we've been practicing this form of self-communication or this lack of confidence. We've been practicing not being confident because somebody said this to us, this person thinks this of us, our mother used to speak this way. And I know, because I've been in all those states. So we've practiced this. Well, here's the cool thing. Because you put so much practice in it, you already know how to freaking do it. Now you're just going to turn it into a positive way, right? And be able to build the confidence, because confidence is a learned behavior. So if you continue to speak in a negative, that's a learned behavior. But the good news is you practice it. You've got it going, okay? So now
you know what's interesting? Wait, I want to say something really quick about that. Because I think people we almost feel embarrassed. Yeah. We've been taught to be embarrassed of being proud of ourselves, that it's conceited or shallow, right? And that do you guys remember the movie Mean Girls, where like the three popular girls are like standing looking in the mirror, and they're like, I hate my nose. Oh my God, my butt's so big. And Lindsay Lohan's standing there, and she had just come back from like the jungle with her parents, and so she didn't know that behavior. And they looked at her like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you hating on yourself? Like, we have learned, we've been taught to hate on ourselves, and that's the right thing to do, to be like, I wish my thighs were smaller. I wish my abs were more ripped. And instead, like, if we're like, yeah, look at my abs today, it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Could you be any more conceited? Like, it's this really twisted mentality that we have, and we really need to flip-flop it. And like I said, not in a conceited way, but in a proud way of, yes, I work hard. I treat my body right. I feed it right. I should feel good about the way I look and feel. And I'm okay, like, be okay with that. Yeah. So I think that's really important.
And it's huge. And I'll tell you quite frankly, look, Autumn's worked really hard to get to where she is. You know what? I've worked really hard to get to where I am. And when I stood on stage with her and I worked out with her in Washington, D.C., I can tell you this. I felt zero difference standing next to Autumn. Zero, because we're both two women on a journey. She is no less, no more. She doesn't have any less struggle, any more. Like, we both have our stuff. Every person in that room, every person on this call. So we focus too much on our differences and what we need to be instead of the similarities. And I always say this. The CDC says 70% of the population is overweight and obese. We get it. For those of us who are obese, raise your hand if you've heard a million times you're obese. We freaking know, okay? But here's the deal. 99.9% of the population has weight to lose between the ears, and that is not size exclusive. So my deal is this: if I can go this long beating up on myself for how I feel, I'm going to continue to put that in line. Like, now when I hear somebody who speaks negatively about themselves, I actually feel it in the pit of my stomach. But here's the deal: on that journey of self-love, where feelings start to arise. So I used to gorge to feel numb, not to feel better. I did that to feel nothing. And so when I started speaking in kindness and trying to turn this corner in confidence, I had a lot of feelings, y'all. I had anger. I had tears. I had, this is fake. This is BS. This is not real. Who do you think you are? And all those conversations, and stop looking rearview mirror and only seeing this much of myself, and start celebrating the journey. And that's the beautiful part about what we do in fitness, is that we can actually celebrate the little tiny things that add up to get us to exactly to where we need to go. And I didn't receive this gift until I hit like rock bottom number 9,733, because they just keep appearing. It's like a video game, you know? So it's in this journey, I never am out of people to talk to, because people are forever on a journey. And I will tell you honestly, I love the whole avatar practice, and I totally get it. For me, I keep it really simple. Where am I right now? And who can I help that's just a few minutes behind me? That's it. And the way that I do that is just by sharing my raw, authentic journey. Do some people have some stuff to say about me? Absolutely. Do I care? Nada anymore. Not at all, because I used to be the armchair quarterback. I used to be the person that would, you know, bag on the people that were super fit and, oh, it just must come easy to them. It doesn't. It doesn't. So there's people who need to learn to change that mindset. There's people who need to learn how to celebrate non-scale victories. There are people who need to know that there is nothing wrong with modification, or the word modification. That's not less of a workout. And if that's where you are, even on like day one of your workout, if you complete day one, where were you the week before and the month before? If that is progress, celebrate that and share that, because somebody is desperately trying to start day one, and they are searching for you. They're waiting for the version of you, not the hole in the market, not who is being spoke to the most. What's the keywords? And I believe in all that marketing and that branding. It's actually my background, and I use none of it. Because the more authentic I stay in my journey, the more I stay in my truth, the freer I am, the more people I can help on the journey, and the less that it has anything to do with anybody's expectations of myself. And understand, in this self-love and this journey as I fall back, there is zero complacency. I am always working at getting better. And just because my body may shift, it doesn't mean that I'm not getting better. Very passionate.
You guys, I love it. So I love it. I love how passionate you are. It's so important. Well, okay, so a couple of things. First of all, don't be afraid of your feelings. Like when those come up, like when the anger comes up, when the tears come up, all that. Look, I was sitting at the Today Show today, meeting the two women that are about to go on this journey, okay? It's not like the Today Show picked two women that had 10 pounds to lose, okay? They picked a woman who's the same height as me and is at 234 pounds, and they picked a woman who's an inch and a half taller than me who's at 200 pounds, okay? They've got their work cut out for them. And when we were sitting backstage talking with the producer looked at the first woman and said, like, so then, you know, she was sort of running down the questions they were going to ask them. We're going to ask you, you know, what do you hope to get out of this journey? And instantly her tears came up, and instantly she tried to shut herself down. And she literally was like, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm crying. And I was like, oh my God, girl, let it out. Like, you don't, like, every time we try to shove that emotion down, that's when we're not doing ourselves a service. Because when you try to bury the emotion, you try to bury it with one of the unhealthy habits, whether it's the food or the alcohol or the self-hate or whatever. So there's no shame. I learned it too, you guys. I just handled mine differently. Like, trust me, there was a lot of issues from my childhood, and I would deal with my anger in a different way. Thank God I had dance, and I would dance it out. That was usually my outlet. And when I stopped dancing, I would work it out, or I would make the joke like it was a running joke. Oh, I don't deal with my emotions. I bury them like Jimmy Hoffa. And guess what? They caught up to me 2 years ago when all my gut issues came out. And while some people might want to be like, that's not why. Oh, no, it is. When you start holding all of that pain and trauma and you don't let it out, your body is going to turn it into something. Your tissue holds it. So, like, don't be afraid to let the emotion out. The other thing I love that you were saying was about how, like, you have all this background in marketing and everything and you don't use any of it. Because so often we get caught up in this social media game of what's the catchphrase? How do I word it? You guys, I get caught up in it too. Like, where I'm like, ooh, I should word this like this, and da-da-da-da. You know, we take 4 hours to put up one post because we're trying to think of the exact right way to say it. Instead of just saying it from the heart. Who cares if the picture isn't perfectly lit? Who cares if you're not made up to the nines? Like, just put it out there. Put out there what's really happening. Like, There's going to be days where you look like this because hair and makeup showed up in my room at 7 a.m. And there's going to be more days where your hair is all a mess and you're sweaty and the kids are screaming in the background and you probably got stains on your shirt if you're like me because somebody spilled something on me, including myself. And like, that's life too. So like, don't be afraid to share all of that because that's so much more relatable than the perfect image that we try to portray.
And what is the perfect image? Because I love Autumn, but you know what I love about Autumn is she's not freaking perfect. And nobody.
Not in clothes.
Yeah, you know, and somebody had made the comment and they said, you know, the Beachbody, you know, Barbie mentality, and she got inspired by what it was. I didn't see who it was, but what we were saying. But here's the thing, you guys. I encourage you to not use that language either. Here's why. And I'm going to speak to somebody from my size. Okay, this has everything to do with the business. But remember that we're in the business of self-improvement, which comes in many different ways. Sometimes that you're in self-improvement, it's fitness related. Sometimes the mental aspect, sometimes the nutrition. Or maybe it's just that I showed up today when I didn't feel like it. It could be something teeny, teeny, tiny. Here's the thing, and I say this to those that I work with, a lot of them are plus size. And they'll say things like, I can't relate to the super fit girl or the this, the that, etc. We have to change that language. We, no matter what size you are, do not want to be judged based off of our appearance. Therefore, we need to not judge other people based off of their appearance and assuming because they're super fit, Autumn completely understands me.
Dude, I'm so inspired by Tulin, like on the daily basis. Like, first of all, I reference you like 24/7. I'm always like, check out Coach Tulin, who's crushing it. Like, again, the size, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a 2 or a 22. You're inspiring because you're on the journey.
Exactly, but here's the deal. The first thing that you can do to change that language to help you build that confidence, okay, remember, that's a journey too. That's a really cool journey too, is change the way that you pass judgments on other people, assuming it's easier for them, assuming they can't understand, assuming they don't understand the struggle, or on the other end, assuming because she's plus size that she can't do freaking 80-day obsession. The moment I heard 80-day obsession that I was the demo, watch me. Watch me, because I'm going to show that this can be for anybody, right? Now, when they create a demo for the program, they have to. It's not disrespect to anybody. They have to build accordingly, and that makes sense. But the reality is that I totally believe that we can do any freaking workout we want. And just because you modify it isn't less of a workout. And just because Autumn is super fit, she doesn't understand me less. And just because I'm plus size doesn't mean, you understand what I'm saying? So like to change that language, yes, fit has no size. That's my hashtag. To change that internal language, watch how you're speaking to other people. Because this way you speak to other people or think of other people is a million times worth of what you're saying to yourself. So learn to respect and honor all other journeys, which will in turn help you respect and honor your journey, what it is. It'll empower you and it'll impact the people who are around you, who are watching in silence, who is desperately searching for you. Not the hole in the market, not what you think it is, you right now where you stand, and they're watching you. My very first coach was probably your size, Autumn, and I was 375 pounds, and she was inspired by my journey. So
I love that. Here's the thing, like, you guys, there's so many people, let me say this. So there was plenty of people in the original test group, much more, and I'm going to say fit.
Go for it.
I'm going to use fit in quotations, much smaller in size, I will say that didn't finish or didn't give it their all, didn't stay dedicated to the nutrition, right? And then we also had plus size people in the program, like Tulin, like Amber Snow, who just went in there. And like, you guys, not to say you guys didn't have your struggles and you had times where you modified the modifier, and that was great. The beauty of that for me, I will tell you as the creator of the program, was it gave me the ability to say something about the program that I didn't think I was going to get to be able to say. When people say, who is the program for? My favorite response is not that I don't say intermediate to advanced with a base level of fitness, which is what I was sort of originally taught to say, like, okay, you know, in the marketing we're going to say. That's not what I say. I say the program's for anybody who comes into it with a positive mindset and is willing to do the best that they can do.
Yep.
If you are willing to come in and push to your max, That doesn't mean my max, doesn't mean my modifiers max, doesn't mean my background cast. It just means whatever your max is. If you're willing to come in and do the work at that level and be that dedicated, not to me, but to you, to your own self and your own goals, then the program's for you. Because the program is a functional training program. The nutrition isn't a diet. It's not a starvation. It's a healthier way of eating. So why wouldn't it be for anybody and everybody? Yes, the moves are harder. So like if you haven't worked out in a while, you're probably going to modify more. You might hit pause a little bit more. But if this stays positive, then your journey will be positive.
Yep. And the cast shows you what's possible, all the different bodies, and watching 80 Day Obsession, watching them transform along with us, it was really cool because we were doing it with you guys live in the test group. They were transforming. I could get a sense of what my body needs to do. And trust me when I'm telling you, sometimes it comes out, I'm like, oh, I need to let them know that these sliders have a weight limit on them. No, they didn't. It had a lack of core strength limit on it. Oh, these bands are rolling, and we, and I went looking for the bigger bands and this and that. Finally went, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to keep moving forward with the bands and let them roll and figure it out, you guys. I went through the same thing, and I just rolled with it, and I lost inches after inches after inches after inches, right? And all these changes are happening with the same bands that used to roll that weren't rolling as much as I got stronger. So whatever the roadblock or boulder, I like to call it a boulder, okay? If it's, I know this, if you put like a boulder the size of Texas in front of Autumn and Dom's on the other side, and it's as tall as, I don't know, 10, whatever, Empire State Buildings, Autumn is going to figure out a way to get through that boulder. She's going to blow it up. She's going to go around it. She's going to tunnel under it. She's going to Superman over it. She's going to get to the other side to get to Dom. When we go on this journey in our fitness and the business, and I know I talk a lot about fitness right now, but you guys, the fitness and my hair twin just came on, Christina Delgado. Okay, so I really blur the lines between the fitness and the business. There's not a difference between the two in my eyes at all. When it's important enough to you, you will figure out a way to get over whatever's holding you back, right? I'm afraid to share because something's going to say something crappy about me. It says nothing about you and everything about them. I can't continue moving forward in my workout because it's rolling and my challengers are upset that it's rolling. Why don't you show them how you keep rolling through it and hop over that boulder and say, yeah, mine's rolling too. Yeah, mine's cutting into me a bit too, but I'm going to keep moving forward with it. Be the example. How do I say this? Don't be fake. Don't put on an air. Be real in your journey. When you show them what you're doing in the business and the fitness, even in the stumbles, if you get like an atomic no, right? For those of us that have built larger businesses, guess what? We get a lot of no's. For those of us who are plus size on this journey, we're getting the bands rolling a lot, but we're still getting the results if we're willing to hop over that boulder. So either you can stand there and look at the top of it and be like, yeah, I can't get over that. But when it's important enough, you will. So make this business and your fitness, regardless of where you are, so important that you're willing to get over that boulder and the next one, the next one, the next one, because you're capable of doing it. You're also capable of allowing it to hold you back. Like where you are in this is important to 100% of the population. And we say, well, I can't get high SC or I can't help a lot of people. Well, I don't think my coach, when he reached out to me and we started communicating, looked at me as 100 people. I was a person, a journey. Someone that we connected with, and he never brought up my weight and he never brought up my struggles.
I just think that that's so important. I really think that the mindset in general is so important because what I see happening a lot, and I've seen this a lot through my career, this is not just with Beachbody, is that we set this one goal, right? Okay, I'm going to do 21-day fix. I'm going to do 80-day obsession. I'm going to be a Beachbody coach. We set this goal. And we do a couple of things. One, if we don't get to our goal in our time frame, we quit, right? Or when it gets hard, we quit. And the quitting thing, I'm not saying this, and I've talked about this before. It's very hard for me to wrap my brain around it. I consider myself lucky. I have a different mentality. I was taught a different mentality from dancing when I was younger. I just wasn't taught that you quit. And so, because if you quit, you never get there. Like, so it really, it's this hard thing for me to get my brain around when we go like, oh, the loops are rolling, I quit. Why? But But isn't your goal to be healthier? Isn't your goal, like you can't, the only sure thing I know is that if you quit, you won't get there.
Yeah.
But if you keep going, you will. It might not happen in the exact time frame that you want it to. It might not happen in the exact way you want it to. I say that about my business all the time. Is like, you know, I had all these different ideas of how it was supposed to happen. It didn't happen like any of them. And I couldn't be more thankful that it didn't happen like how I thought it needed to, because this is where I needed to be, and this is the time frame it needed to happen in. And you guys have to remember that as coaches. Like, so often coaches are like, well, I didn't hit Success Club for the first 2 months, and so I quit. And it's like, but why? Do you believe in helping people?
Yeah.
Are you going to keep exercising? Are you going to keep taking care of yourself? Then don't quit. Like, stumble, fall, be pissed, be sad, but get back up and go right back at it. You know, I don't know if Danielle Natoni is on this call right now, but she'll love this reference. So I joke about the fact that I grew up on 80s movies, which I think a lot of us did. And 80s movies always had like this really like positive message, right? Like we had like the Karate Kid and we had the Rocky movies, and like the underdog always won. Like, that's how I look at life. Like, that's how I looked at myself. I was the underdog. I was the girl from Ohio who wasn't the best dancer ever, but had the biggest heart. And I think that if you guys take that into your journey, having the biggest heart matters. It matters so much more. We see it with pro athletes. We see it with business people. You could be the smartest one in the room, but if you don't have the heart, you're not going anywhere. So like, let it come from here and watch what happens. That is important.
It is. And also too, if you think about Autumn, like, you know, and anyone on this call, we've all been through stuff. And when you change the mentality, and these are not my words, but they're words that I live by, but when you change the mentality of things aren't happening to me, they are happening for me. And I know for some of us, our stories are rough. Like, how could you say that with the life that I went through? I can't speak for everyone. So let me just speak in general. If we can, I lived as a victim for so long in so much fear. I taught my kids that. And thank God they watch us stumble and fall all the time. They don't learn from us in our perfection. They learn in our ability to pick up even in the rough times. And we're going through one right now. And they're watching us pick up and keep moving forward, keep showing for work, things like that. Things don't happen to us. They happen for us. And this idea, and goals are important, right? There's no denying that goals are important. However, we set this weight goal on this particular date. And where's the weight goal coming from? So think about it this way. If you look back and you have this weight goal or this business goal, right? If it's a weight goal, it's set to this picture in your mind or a physical picture in your hand. Like when we look at pictures, the first thing comes in our mouth, oh yeah, I was 139 pounds in that picture. Like, it's weird, right? We do that. So we come up with this number that comes out of who knows where, okay? Then all of a sudden we go through in our journey and we don't hit it. Do you quit? It's like in the extreme weight loss shows. Okay, I'm losing 100 pounds. End of the show. Oh, you only lost 98. The girl is crying because she didn't lose this additional 2 pounds. You lost 98 freaking pounds. Celebrate that. Like, we don't put a good, we don't put the blinders on in a way of, how do I say this? Like, we set goals, and goals are important, but we also have to remain flexible. Because I'll tell you this, during 80-day obsession, and the same thing in the business, you guys, I was anti-SC, I was anti-talking about coaching, I was anti-Shakeology, I was the biggest no you'll ever get, and I was actually mean about it, okay? In 80-day obsession, my lean body mass at one point, we did the DEXA scan, was 152 pounds. When I was anorexic, I was down to 140 or 130 pounds, desperately trying to get down to 100, trying to live up to this norm, this acceptable ideal, right? My lean body mass a few months ago was 152 pounds. Add 20, 25% to that. I can't do the math, but it puts me somewhere at about 190 pounds if I add that percentage of body fat to it. So when you think about these ideas that we put these things, my husband's doing awesome, thank you, Cheryl. We put these things out there about our business and this and that. We don't hit it and we quit because we've learned to be quitters. Quitting is mediocre. We have learned to be average. And we're not average. Average is a choice. But it's not going to, yeah, do some people come in and hit 100 SC points? Yeah. And then they burn really, really fast. Because they're like, I don't know how to handle 50 people. Well, of course you don't, because you haven't practiced. So embrace the fact that just like in your fitness journey, your business journey, maybe at first you didn't realize you started off as a discount coach. You didn't realize the importance of SC5. Then all of a sudden we make SC5 huge. We end the month at SC4 and we go, oh, I suck, I quit. Or you hit SC5 earlier in the month and then you don't talk to anybody else because, oh, I might not have anybody else through end of the month or next month. You always have people to help when they're a few minutes behind you because you have something to share. There are at least 3 people that you pass in your circle, friends, forget my whole team. I have one person on there I've known since high school. Every single person I've met is through social media, being completely transparent and honest about my journey. Completely transparent and honest in all the struggles and all the positives and all, no, you can't, and all the everything. So here's the deal, you guys. People need to know where you are right now. They need to know right where you are right now. And if you're not hitting SC5, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, you aren't talking to people. It is an impossibility to not be able to hit at least help 3 people a month. But if you start off with helping 1 person a month, and you get those 2 SC points, right? It's not the SC points, it's that 1 person that you help change. That's what happened to me. I helped 1, and then I was able to help 2. Well, if I was able to help 2 last month, I'm sure I can help 3. Boom, I can help 3. Oh, I got 3 people in the pipeline. I'm gonna hit SC5 for sure this month. Last day of the month, because I hung on to those 3 people, like life force, and then one of them didn't come through the challenge pack. I'm like, I hit SC4, I suck. No, you don't. You didn't talk to enough people. There is too many people out there. It's not just the fitness, you guys. It's the mental mindset. It's the nutrition. It's self-belief. It's being able to see in you. If you came from this horrible, dark place, I'm going to use myself as an example, super negative, angry, I don't even want to hang out with who I used to be, but that was the way that I dealt with the things that I went through. If people can see that transformation in me, somebody who came out so hardened and can see that transformation, there's other people who want that too. They want that. Yes. They want to be in that energy with you. So there's at least 3 people a month to help. Always, at least.
You guys, this is like, seriously, you guys are getting gold information. I feel like this is week 7, so we're like just more than halfway through the program. We've had 7 amazing coaches on, and all with different backgrounds, different places in their business, and different things to share, but all with like the same common theme. No matter what topic we're always talking about, we keep coming back to the same thing, which is that you need to be authentically you, and you can't be afraid to talk to people. That's it. Like, and yes, a lot of our talking to people is through social media, but let's also not forget that there's a whole world out there. There's a whole world. Don't get stuck in front of your phone. Like, go to your kids' school, like talk, to make friends with the moms, like talk to other people on social media. If you see somebody who's had an awesome, inspiring journey, congratulate them, whether they're going to be your person or not. Like, don't be afraid. But I'm going to wrap this up really quick, and I want to say 2 things. One, I love what Tulin is saying about she sort of helps the person that's just a few minutes behind her. Because if you ever watch when Tulin posts, it is specific who she will take on and who she won't. And I know you have health issues, Tulin, and you say, like, I'm looking for women who are plus size, or I'm looking for women with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Like, these are the women I'm helping. She has very much identified what works for her and who she wants to work with, because that's so relatable. So you need to figure that out too. Like, look, I reference my older sister a lot because she was in the thing, but she went through this insanely horrific divorce where she still, she doesn't share all of the details, and she doesn't need to, but it ain't pretty. And for her, of all people, to come out the other side is pretty impressive. But like, when she does share even little bits about it, those are the people she's attracting. Women who have maybe been in these bad relationships, who didn't have the self-confidence to remove themselves, but are trying to pick the pieces back up and are like, I don't know how. So we all have something to share and to talk about, and think about what that is. And it doesn't have to be negative, right? It doesn't always have to be a negative thing. Like, there's a person I'm helping right now, a young girl that reached out to me. She's 16, and she's a dancer. And trust me, I lived in that world of like, thank God I never had an eating disorder. Like, but I watched so many of my friends with them. And this girl reached out to me, and she was like, I need help. Like, I want to eat okay, but I need to look good for stage. And I was like, her knowing that I was a dancer made her feel confident enough to reach out and ask for my help. Great. So like all those things that you share about life are going to make a big difference. And that's what we mean about sharing your journey wherever you're at in it. Like wherever, whether you're a brand new coach and you're trying to attract new coaches, or you consider yourself plus size, or you're super shredded fit. Like you could still inspire the plus size. You could still inspire, look, you can be 30 and then inspire the 50-year-old. All of it matters. So before we wrap up, what I want to do is ask Tulin if you've got 4 or 5 tips, or however many tips, like 3 to 5, let's say, that you're just like, these are the things, guys, that matter most. Give them to us right now.
Okay, so number 1, share your journey. That's it. Share your journey. Don't be worried about what anybody else has to say. Don't be worried about the negative, okay? Number 2, if you feel like I haven't had a big transformation, or I'm just my life is boring, et cetera, I want you to know that is not true. So number 2 is, regardless of where you are, stop discounting that you don't have enough to offer and enough to share. There are plenty of other people out there who can also say, I'm just, and we're always way more than we give ourselves credit for. Number 3, start practicing self-love by starting with how you communicate and think of other people. Number 4, get on social media. I say that because I'm an introvert. So I am, believe it or not, I'm actually incredibly shy. And social media works out really, really well for me. And you're gonna go, what's the best place? What's this? What's that? Find the one that speaks to you most. And number 5, listen, you guys, it's a journey. Embrace the journey. It doesn't matter your size. It doesn't matter. Remove the boulders and just share exactly where you are right now. And here's the deal. If somebody has something negative to say, consider it a universal house cleaning, and now you know exactly who you're not talking to. Number 6, bonus. You are not here to debate, talk into, convince anyone. Continue progressing in your journey. When they're ready to talk to you, they'll be ready. A lot of us said no many, many times until we were ready. Your timeline is not their timeline.
Oh, so amazing, you guys. So amazing. Like 45 minutes just went by so dang fast, and I could stay on here for like 2 more hours if we had the time. But you guys, let's thank Tulin for being flexible in her schedule, jumping on with us this morning, for sharing all of this amazing information, because oh my gosh, I hope you all go back and watch this call like 10 times, because there's so much value to all of this. Keep doing it, keep pushing, keep motivating, keep inspiring. You guys all have something to share. So thank you for that. I know some people are probably wondering, like, oh, what was the prize for this week? There wasn't one for this week. For this past week. Last week we were talking about hitting Success Club. You guys, sometimes the prize is just that you worked your business. And so hopefully you worked your business hard. You listened to what Melanie had to say last week, and you earned Success Club. What I want to know is if you earned Success Club or not. So I'm going to do a post asking about that. But go out there, authentically share that journey, and let's keep going. So I'll see you guys all hopefully on Friday morning for a workout. Tulin, thank you. Have a wonderful Monday. Everybody have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.